Here we are. Bench is laying on the ground, as you can see. Drawers are in. I left them in. I just put little chocks at the front to hold them, keep them from sliding out when I tilted the bench down. As you can see, let's go over this side. So this is the backer, the back part that'll go up against the wall. In this particular section right here, all the way down, is going to be corkboard or pegboard. I'm going to rip that into the right size to fit across there. Probably be 2 pieces. I used 2x2 in the center here to give me enough substance rather than the 2x1 or 1x2, but also to not take up. If I did a 2x4, it would have this much, and then all those peg holes in that area would be useless. So I narrowed it down to just a couple peg holes in a row. That'll give me more use of the pegboard feature. And then it's braced all the way down to the bottom. I have this side, which is a 1x8 or 1x10. Can't remember. Anyways, I want to say 1x10, which will be on the top. I'll have the shelf. Moved away from its spot where it's going to rest. This is what I've got thus far. I've got to put the shelf in here, which will be basically half this space. Or I might make it a little bit higher up for large boxed tools, and then for the smaller box tools, they can kind of rest up here. That's probably what I'll do. I'm going to put a temporary 1/2-inch ply top on here. Next thing I got to do is I got to take this pegboard. I'm going to rip it down into 2 4-foot lengths. Basically, each length will go, one will go here, and then the other one will take the other half over here. And this will be a pegboard for hanging tools, such as maybe my drills, hammers, other things that I just won't be putting into these top 3 drawers here. So the next step for me right now is pegboard. Then this down here is going to be pretty simple, pretty easy. Because I already have the boards cut there. I'm just putting the boards back that I had in here for the shelf support. Alrighty, I'm gonna get back to it, and I'll come back and show you what I've done. All right, so I've already made a decision after doing this that is different from what I said just a moment ago. So I ripped down, I found out that I didn't have to use this. I have a couple pieces over here. So if I wanted to, I could do all pegboard across the back here. But what I decided is, because this side, I plan on putting a computer monitor right here in this corner like I've had in the past. You may have seen on this bench, was a computer here. I have a monitor now that I can put on there, a friend of mine gave me, that would hook up to my laptop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this pegboard in this half here, where we'll have all the tool storage. Most of the banging and stuff like that, or any kind of work, will be done mostly on this half of this bench, whereas planning and things like that will be on this half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of those sheets of corkboard, and I'm just going to put a panel across here, and then I'm going to glue up corkboard along there, so I can be able to pin notes and things. Maybe if you guys send me a picture of your project or whatever, I'll be able to just I'll be able to showcase some things there. I think that would look a little nicer. This is the bench, or the shelf top, so I'll be able to put odd things up here as well. plan on putting down here at this end all of the chargers for the various cordless tools. But anyway, what I wanted to show you is the screw that I'm going to use to mount this back up into here. I really like these screws. These are truss screws. The reason why I like them is this is what the head looks like. It almost looks kind of like a screw with a washer, but it's built in. It's just an extra big head. It looks kind of cool. Probably not meant for this, but it's a screw, goes into wood, and it holds things up. I'm going to basically put them, let's see, down here, put them through here like that, because I can't use any pegs and the pegboard behind the boards, so it's not going to be in the way. All right, I'll get that done, show you what it looked like. First, what I had to do is figure out how high I want this shelf, because I'm going to put the higher boxed tools on the bottom shelf and the lower boxed tools on the top shelf. And I cut these to 15 inches. This bench, I used this tool, which is a pocket jig. Okay, I really like this. Very, very strong. What it did is it creates this angled hole, pocket hole, that you use these specialized screws like this in, okay, and it's a little bit like the truss screws that I showed you earlier. Okay, it's a little square bit, and it comes in here on an angle. So I did a single here because I did a double on this side. Basically what I've got going, so I've got that spacer in there that I'll kick out when I'm done. There's a nice tight fit, so I had to use a very hefty hammer to knock it down. But if you look up here, you'll see where the old shelf used to be, and this is the hole pattern of how these come into play. So these two will be down lower, and then the one that I have, the single one that I have up underneath, will come up here. So I'll have 3 screws screwed right into that. And you have to use this special bit that comes with the kit. You can also get them individually. See if I can do this one-handed. Get that in there. There we go. And it just goes right in there. Okay. Just make sure that one's in there nice and tight. There we go. And they're out of the way. And now I can put a top on here once I get this other one over. This is the drill bit that goes inside the jig, pocket jig. Okay, so you would line it up. I've lined it up to where it needs to go. It has some instructions on how far back you need in order to get in the center of the board you're doing it. But this you stick on into your drill, and it goes in. Pilot hole for the screw, and then a little shelf, if you will, for the head of the screw. Here's a knot that I had to fight through. This is going back when I first built this, but it illustrates or shows really well how that goes in through that hole and then it hits that shelf, and so that's where it's stopping, is right there on that line. In my effort to try to keep these videos between 10 to 15 minutes in length, I'm going to cut it off right here, but I want to show you what I've done so far and tell you what's left to come. My goal right now isn't necessarily to finish the bench, but to get it to where I could start using it, and then we'll add some other features and stuff to it as time permits. But I really want to get onto this motorcycle build. I've been holding on to that for a few years now, and I'm sure many of you are just waiting for me to just get with it, get it going. So anyway, let's take a look at this bench. Here we go. This is what I have so far. I went into this corner. You may remember earlier, this corner was full of scrap wood. I got all of it out, and I got pieces of it leaning up everywhere else now. but I found out that I had a piece that was perfect, 2 foot by 8 foot for the bench top for now. I have a friend who I'm going to be hopefully working with to create a bench top for this that will look a little more stylish. But right now I need function so that we can get onto that motorcycle build. I have the supports for this one shelf, and obviously for this I'm going to get some material, some plywood that I can put across here so that we have some bench space. I can get the tools down up underneath there and everything. Faces will come later for the drawers. In the meantime, I want to start at least putting the tools in there, getting it organized, designed up. I'll show you the process of designing the drawer layout for cutting on the laser. I still haven't heard back from Trace My Space as if they want to work on this with me, so I'll probably end up talking to my friend who has a laser that we might be able to use to cut out the shapes for the inserts. And just as a reminder, this is what we're looking at doing with the foam inserts. This is what Trace My Space did for us. I'll put a link below for that episode. And you know, what the heck, I'll give you a link to their site. I don't think my 10% off code works anymore because they are under new management, new ownership. So anyway, I'll just show you what it is, where it is. You can go and talk to them. But next steps, got to get me some ply for here, some ply for there, and start putting some tools up on here. I used pegboard for this side, but I reversed it because I'm either going to put pegboard, not pegboard, this is pegboard, corkboard across here, and I'm going to apply it to this surface, or I may, I think I might go with like a sheet of metal across here so I can use magnets instead of thumbtacks. Then I want to get some lighting to put up underneath here. I tried some stuff that was really cheap and it proved itself cheap. It didn't work. So I'm going to get some really good stuff to put up underneath here so it shines down this way. And I also want to put some lighting right across here like I did over there. In fact, I'll probably go grab this one and move this over here so it's up above this particular area. And I may deflect those lights elsewhere. But it's coming along. I want to get this all nice and tidy so that I can get it all nice and dirty again with grease and oil. Get that engine back in the frame. So before I go and call it the end of this particular episode, I want to say Happy New Year, considering that it is the 1st of January 2023. And here in Arizona, nice and rainy day. Love it. Love the rain when we get it. And so I'm going to call it quits right now for this episode and start preparing for the next episode. Let's keep these streaks going. Until next time, live life on purpose.